Hello everyone, my name is Nashwan. She pronounced it actually perfectly, Nashwan Hamza. And I'm sure you're going to be happy to know I was not prepared to come speak today, so it's going to be quite short, but I still wanted to come on behalf of the Islamic community on the peninsula and show our solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. As you know, the Islamic community over the last decade has been going through, actually long before, but definitely during the last decade has been going through a struggle of its own, not unlike the African American community, but just on a smaller scale, obviously. And I have been blessed with being able to have been a speaker for an organization in which we've been able to speak on Islam, giving instruction about the religion to schools, to civic organizations, to churches. And I can tell you that since 9/11, things were bad, but at this heightened time during the election, it has gotten to a level that is definitely scary. I think I may cry before I end up leaving you tonight. But I started jotting down some things that I think are important that the Islamic community can convey to the Black Lives Matter movement and the things that we have learned. And the primary thing, I think, is that we've come to recognize, the Islamic community, we've come to recognize that our issues are not solely exclusive to the Islamic community. The educational process that this last 10 years has given all of us is that we as Muslims are starting to recognize that all the minority groups have the same systemic oppressions and similar hatreds that come from various groups, politicians, etc., and we have all this in common. So as a result of that, the primary thing is to, number one, to recognize that. And the second thing is to, again, understand the need for solidarity. We often will find ourselves, trying to struggle with our own individual minority group struggles. The Islamic group will fight for its causes, the African American community will fight for its causes, the Hispanic, the LGBT community, individually. But if anything that my life on this earth has taught me is that in order to create change, you have to present a multi-ethnic, multi-minority, multi-colored front to politicians in order to be able to get action to happen. When we go with my community, when we go before elected politicians, and we come with just Muslims, for example, it doesn't hold the same weight when I've got 3 African Americans with me, when I've got 5 Jews with me, when I've got people of every walk of life along with me, because then that politician will definitely stand up and listen at that point. So that's the second most important thing. And then the third that I've come to understand more recently, because I've become more involved recently with interfaith activities and in working towards social justice issues. And that is, we need to be very clear, not only amongst ourselves, what it is that we're asking for. So let's talk about the African American community or the Black Lives Matter movement. What is it that we're asking for? Many of the speakers today have illustrated the obvious systemic issues that we have. But what is it that we're expecting of the non-Black community? What do your supporters, or the supporters that are out there, what are we asking from them? Because many of them wish to help. Many of them wish to help the Islamic community, but we've been really negligent in being able to tell them specifically what we want them to do. So that is one thing. And then on the opposite side, for those that do wish to help, we have to reach out. You have to give out your email addresses so that you can be notified and when things occur that we need help with. So again, these 3 things coupled together I found to be really very, very important. Another event that has occurred in the last number of years through the development of the Black Lives Matter movement is the solidarity with the Palestinian struggle. There was a delegation that was sent in 2015 by the initiators of the Black Lives Matter movement to Palestine to see for themselves what has been going on. We here in the West, we don't get information, unfortunately, not just in regards to this matter, but in many, many aspects of politics and international events. We don't get the accurate information. So having gone there, they were able to see firsthand the oppression that goes on and found the similarities between Palestine to Ferguson to every other city in the United States. So it became part of their charter the Black Lives Matter movement charter to recognize the Palestinian struggle. So with that, we are creating, not the Islamic community per se, but another organization that I'm belonging to, are creating an event that's hopefully happening in April between Monterey Institute of International Studies, or Middlebury, and then CSUMB, with professors there and students there, in which we will have an event that will illustrate the solidarity of this event and show why it matters to not just these two parties, but to every single American in the United States, how it affects us and what we can do to fix it. This is really, all of these various struggles that we have, if we start to tackle one after the other together, they will fall like a domino effect. Who would have thought 10, 15 years ago the development of the LGBTQ community in the United States? I would have never imagined the progress that we have made. The same can happen with all of these other struggles that we have if, again, we follow these three strategies: uniting, making it clear what we wish, and then moving forward. So any of those, I'm going to push my agenda here. For any of those that wish to be notified about it, please let me know at the end and put down your email address, and I'll let you know about the event when it happens. And again, the Islamic community is definitely with you. Make it clear to us what you would like us to do. Thank you.